my paper today was about women in Marikana, and my emphasis was that when we're talking about Marikana, we need to go beyond Marikana, the event of 16 August 2012, to talk also about Marikana, the location, and Marikana, the socio-economic conditions in Marikana, things that are affecting people every day that relate to the wage. And also that when we're talking about the wage, we should be really careful not to exclude the word living wage, because that's what the workers are focusing on. It's not just a wage, but it's a living wage that they want. And so when we're talking about a living wage, we need to talk about the living conditions of the people in Marikana. We need to move beyond just production, workplace issues, and include, I'm not saying don't include, but I'm saying on top of the workplace issues, we need to take seriously the reproduction issues, the things that are happening in the communities that are reinforcing some of the ills that people are faced with at work. And the things that I touched on was that the geography of Marikana is important to understand why it is so inhumane what's happening in Marikana. That there's a shaft that is less than 100 meters, 200 meters from the community. And the shaft or the mine has all this, the services. It's got great roads that are taking the wealth out of the community. Not only has it got great roads, but there's electricity that is hardly interrupted, that is available to the mine. It's got perfect water, clean running water that is always available to the mine. But the people are living less than 200 meters or 300 meters from the very same mine, don't have any of those things. Yet they're the ones who are taking out the wealth from the rock face. They're the ones who are doing the hard work, but they're completely excluded from the benefits of what that wealth can do, of the development that they keep hearing about. There is no form of development at all when you're looking at Marikana. The social conditions are dire in Marikana. People are struggling to put food on the table. And it's not just people are struggling to put food on the table, the workers are not able to make ends meet. And so a great burden of that, it falls on the women. They're the ones who have to go out and try and source extra funds one way or the other. And there's no way they can depend on the state to get those extra funds. And so it's women who are facing the burden of reproducing mine work, but it's also women who are facing the burden of reproducing labor power. So it's women who are doing all this extra work at home that services the mines that don't even give them anything in return. So I think that was the crux of the paper, to say that we need to acknowledge what the women are doing to reproduce labor power. There's a movement in Marikana, it's called Sikala Sonke Women's Organization, and they've tried to work together as women in the community to try and address some of these things, but there's only so much they can do when they don't have money. They've tried to bring in the mine, and I remember the last time I was in Marikana, the mine had gone to check what the women were doing, and they were building a creche for their children. They came and they said they will bring engineers, they will bring geologists. Those people come and they tell them that the land is not good, so they cannot build certain things. So yes, they've tried to engage, but there's nothing that's come out of it. And when they try to engage at the specific mine that operates around Marikana, the mine, again, they were doing work for themselves, and they tried to engage the mine, but they came and they stole a lot of things to a point where nothing's moved since the mine went to them. So the mine goes and engages them, but it just does that to legitimize its presence, but not necessarily to address the issues that are affecting people. The fact that even to this day, tomorrow, this evening, there's people whose parents are working in the mines, who are going to go to work without food because the money is just not enough. That says something about, the mine is not addressing issues in the workplace, and to even expect it to think of addressing issues outside the workplace, I don't believe it. It hasn't happened. Some of the things that the women are doing to mobilize, they've formed this organization completely from nothing. After the massacre, they felt like, well, because before the massacre, women were working again with the workers, were on the hill, cooking, providing airtime, support basically for those who are on the hill, but also for the wives or girlfriends of those who are not coming back home. So women started organizing even before the massacre to support each other, to support those who are on the hill, and to make sure that things are happening in the community. After the massacre, 270 people, workers, men, were arrested, tons more were in hospitals, others were killed. So there were no men, or there were few men in the community. It was women who carried that community throughout that time, and it was also women who went to the courts demanding that workers be released. So women have played a very key role in keeping things going in Marikana when no one else was there in terms of men. Marikana is not just a crisis of production, a crisis in the workplace. I think for us to prevent another Marikana from happening, we need to realize that it's a crisis of social reproduction. As much as it's a crisis of production, it's as much about the money, about the wage, about exploitation, as it is about these socio-economic conditions around the community. If people are still living in the conditions that people in Marikana live under, we're still going to see lots and lots and lots of other Marikanas happening across the country, but maybe not get the same attention that Marikana has received. But people, and they continue to die every day because people are fed up with the dehumanizing conditions that they're forced to live under, rather. So I think we need to take Marikana holistically and address all the issues, and not just issues that answer to a specific single one-day event. And I'm not saying that to say the event is not important. It's very important because people lost husbands, brothers, but Marikana, for that not to happen, we need to look at it holistically.